All right. Well, I guess it's my turn at this point, right?
Mm, I'm fucking thrilled for this one, man.
Yeah, man. Hopefully I can follow up your excellent review with something that is somewhat comparable. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I finished this game. So I started playing this when the Series X actually came out because it was released for Game Pass, and I do want to note that I beat the game before the upgrade came out for the new consoles.
Okay.
Electronic Arts has released a patch for Series X and Series S that is supposed to take advantage of the hardware capabilities of both systems. My understanding is it's worth checking out, but I have not had the time or an opportunity to do so. So I'm going off of my experience on the Series X prior to that patch, and I have to say it was still pretty positive. This is a game that had a bit of a rocky launch when it came out, and there were some issues with bugs and glitches, and you know. I remember seeing some of the footage where like characters that you were fighting would just kind of teleport away. Nothing to the same degree of Cyberpunk, but definitely some humorous stuff. That's if you look it up on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find some pretty entertaining things. Um, I fortunately did not have any experiences like that. There were a couple glitches where maybe something got stuck in a wall, or maybe somebody that should have seen me didn't, but nothing I would consider game breaking. I,
Hmm.
I think I may have had to reload a save once or twice, tops.
Okay.
Um,
Not terrible.
the load times on the game were fair, I would say. I believe that they certainly took advantage of the Series X horsepower. I did try it on my One X at one point or another, and I found that the game did run faster on the Series X. But they both looked about the same. The only advantage that I had on that was playing it on a 4K TV with my Series X. And
Okay.
with the performance talk out of the way, let's like dive into the game proper. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, for anybody who has not played it, is a third person action adventure game. A lot of people compare it to Dark Souls and that ilk, and I can understand why, but it is certainly not nearly at the same difficulty of those sorts of games. This is, I would, I don't want to call it Dark Souls light, but I suppose that might be a good way to put it. Um,
Okay.
from some of the articles I was reading, they were saying that actually Batman Arkham Asylum was an inspiration for the gameplay for this. I don't know if that's true or not.
Mm.
But this also has elements of Metroidvania type games as well too, where there's certain areas that maybe as you're exploring you come across, and you just can't get there, quite yet. You don't have the powers that you need necessarily to make that jump across that bridge, or to knock this wall down, or unlock this door. And you make a little mental note and you're like, all right, I'll circle back to this later on. um, as the story goes, you play as a Jedi Padawan named Cal Kestis, who is played by Cameron Monaghan. He's most famous for the show Shameless, which is or it's in its final season right now. He's one of the lead characters on that show.
I don't
Um,
think I knew that.
yeah, yeah. Everybody in this show, or excuse me, everybody in this game, um, is, with the exception of the aliens, of course, they mocap their faces, and his face, like, and his voice immediately jumped out. Nikki was in the room with me. She watches Shameless, and she immediately saw him, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he's in Shameless." Didn't miss a beat, right? And then later on, you'll run into Forrest Whitaker, and
I love him.
looks like him, sounds like him. It's like it's unmistakable. Even Deborah Wilson, who plays Seer, who won a Drury a couple weeks ago. Like I was struggling trying to figure out who it was because the actress sounded familiar and looked so familiar. And sure enough, I did some research and figured out who it was.
Hmm.
But anyway, Cal is essentially dealing with not only Imperial forces, but as you go from planet to planet, you're dealing with aggressive animal species as well, and they're all particular to whatever planet you're on. So you won't really encounter the same enemy on more than one planet outside of Imperial, stormtroopers and those sorts of things.
Hmm.
And through the game, you start to earn skill points. You have an XP bar that you're filling up that fills up with every kill that you get. You could also level up your character through acquiring items. There are these hidden crates that are scattered about each level or each planet. And some of them you can unlock bonuses. So, like if you, get three green crates, so to speak. It'll give you a boost in health. There's a blue one that'll help boost your force powers. All those items give you XP because you found them, and that gives you that extra boost. I don't believe there was a actual like level cap per se. They don't really track what level you're on. You just get experience points, and you have an opportunity to spend them in a skill tree. Okay.
Okay.
The skill tree does have some sections that are gated off at the beginning, and they're tied to story events. So you have something like a double jump, for example, which will enable you to jump higher or further than you could before, maybe reach areas that you couldn't get to. That's tied to a story event, or rekindling some of your Jedi powers like force push, force pull. Those are also tied to story events as well. And once you activate those powers in that story, part of the skill tree opens up, and you have the ability to start investing experience points into those skills. So maybe it's something as simple as making it stronger. Maybe it's being able to use force pull on more than one enemy at a time, or push more than one enemy off of a cliff. You can start using them in tandem with each other. Your character gets pretty powerful as the game progresses.